So this year's been very chaotic. And how has COVID changed the way you have been preparing yourself for the draft? And do you think it has a more positive impact or a negative impact on your game?
I think COVID really, changed everything for everyone. Just having to, do like virtual meetings with coaches, not being able to, fly out to, the teams to be able to, see them in person and for the coaches to get a feel for you. So, um, overall, it's been like good. I had to adjust just with like, speaking about our plays and the systems that, teams are trying to basically instill with me. But other than that, it's been fine. Like I haven't had an issue with just the virtual, communication besides, connection and whatnot with internet. But other than that, it's fine.
Alex Fleming, go ahead.
Mr. Moses, Alex Fleming, how you doing today?
Doing well, and yourself?
Not too bad. Two-parter. One, do you feel some type of way the fact that the combine wasn't held and you weren't able to go to Indianapolis? And number two, has Coach Saban talked to you and the rest of the team about how important it is to keep a good image on and off the field, considering what we're seeing in today's news cycle?
Right. So, now like having to wait. What was your first question again? I was trying to listen to what you said the second time.
Indianapolis
Oh yeah.
combine.
So the Indianapolis the combine, like I never had an issue with that being changed, because things change all the time. So just with it being like teams coming to our pro day and that being more so like a combine type thing and having to do like our medicals at different times, different areas. It's a big change. It's far from what we things used to be like going on, but it's just as far as like how I'm dealing with it, it's fine for me. As far as like our image and whatnot, Coach Saban's always spoke about that, and that's something that he basically emphasized on from the time we get to Bama to the time we leave, and that's something that he wants us to be able to carry on, in life after football, So it's not, it's definitely something we always have to go over.
Antonio Carlos Jr., go ahead. Antonio Carlos Jr., go ahead. All right. Amos Morales, go ahead.
Yeah, wanted to ask you, I know obviously you're from the Baton Rouge area. Have a lot of people, that you maybe went to high school with or family members been asking you if you've been hearing from the Saints? And then also just have you been looking into the NFL teams and which systems you feel you fit well in?
Yeah, so I have heard from the Saints, quite a bit, just for like speaking to them on, online and having to, give them, my background information and all that. I mean, majority of that they already know, but it's cool being able to speak, to the hometown team. But um, just as far as, what was the second question you asked?
Just have you've been looking at different NFL teams and
Oh,
seeing where you fit
yeah.
in or try to visualize yourself.
Well, nah, like pretty much any team that's interested in me, I'm fine. Like I'm able to, adjust and fit into any type of scheme. So I never really had an issue or have an issue with just any defense that I'm put in because I feel like I excel in any one of them.
Jordan Reed, go ahead.
Hey, Dylan, Jordan Reed of the Draft Network. So you played primarily Mike linebacker last year, and that was a bit of a transition for you from the outside. So just talk about that transition and some of the things that you maybe dealt with now that you were in the middle at Mike.
So that's a crazy question because like I actually played Mike my freshman year, for a couple games and it was something that I like doing, setting guys up and getting the play call and setting the defensive line. So that wasn't necessarily something that was new for me. Um, what was I feel like was the hardest thing was just like changing things up throughout the year because like sometimes we would watch film on teams and the film that we're watching, we go out to the game, they'll be running a completely different offense, so we'll have to change up our scheme in the midst of the game. So I feel like that was really the hardest thing, and also making that transition too. as I played weak side, pretty much my entire career at Bama, and then having to make that transition my senior year after missing like a year and a half, it was hard at first, but then once I got the hang of it, it was fine.
Thank you.
Mookie Hawkins, go ahead.
Dylan Moses, Mookie Hawkins, Buffalo Sports 1080 Buffalo. How's it going, big dog?
What's up? What's up?
Now, how have your time in Alabama prepared you for this moment, and have the Bills been in contact with you?
Yes, the Bills have been in contact with me quite a bit. Actually, I spoke to them I think 3 or 4 times, and they show great interest. But just as far as wait, what was your first question that you asked?
How have your time at Alabama prepared you
Okay.
for this moment?
Well, my first year at Bama, I had to sit behind Rashawn Evans, and he was a great linebacker, and he took me under his wing whenever I first got here. So I learned a lot from him, and then pretty much just watching all the older guys, because I was around a lot of great players my freshman year, ongoing, But that year really helped me just with being around Minka and Rashawn and just like all the older guys that was on the team at the time. So watching them and how they conducted themselves and how to be a leader, it really carried me throughout my entire career at Bama.
Charlie Potter, go ahead.
Yeah, Dylan, just want to ask you just how are you feeling from a health perspective, and how much are you planning on doing tomorrow at Pro Day?
I feel great, man. Like I said, I've just been doing rehab. I had surgery back February 9th. I had a torn meniscus that I was playing with last season that I didn't know about. So it was something that, like I said, I just had to, once I got done with the season, I was able to get my MRI and get it checked out and get it fixed. So ever since then, I've just been rehabbing. And tomorrow, I'm pretty much just going to do my interviews for the teams, and that'll be it. Like, teams already know that, I'm not really doing anything because I've been rehabbing. So, that's the deal there.
Jacob Infante, go ahead.
Hey, Dylan, appreciate you taking the time out today. Jordan mentioned your transition to the Mike linebacker and also your experience at the Will. So I'm just wondering, in talking with teams, is there a general consensus about what alignment they've been projecting you in? And in terms of 4-3, 3-4, whatever base that might be, just what the general consensus is there?
Most teams, when they speak to me, they ask me about if I'd be comfortable with playing, Will, the weak side linebacker, because they saw my film just like I was able to play freely and I play my best when I'm at Will. And a couple of teams asked me if I could play Mike, if they wanted me, if I could play Mike in their system, and I told them I didn't mind. That's something that I never really had an issue with. I feel like I could play both positions. I'm interchangeable with it, so. Like I'm just trying to do whatever, I can, basically to excel, whatever defense I'm in.
Michael Gelkin, go ahead.
I was curious, what were your impressions of Patrick Surtain as a teammate, and what is an NFL team that would draft him get as a football player?
Oh man, I love the guy. I helped recruit him. Whenever he was first coming in as a freshman, and seeing his growth into a player. I'm proud of him. So any team, that draft him gonna get like a competitive, what else? Competitive, tough guy. He's real technical when he's on the field. He's like a technical machine, goes out there, does what he's supposed to do, but he's also like a real football player. Like he plays, with a lot of passion. He's hardworking, great teammate. And like I said, I appreciate, having the years that I had with him, just being on the field.
Nick Hamilton, go ahead.
Good afternoon, rather. A lot has been made about your athleticism, your range, your length. Who are some of the people that you looked up to in the NFL ranks during your high school and collegiate career that you took from them and put in your arsenal?
So a couple of linebackers that I've been looking at were Fred Warner, Deion Jones, and Ryan Shazier. Those are the 3 guys that I really like trying, study their game the most, because they have a lot of athletic ability and speed and sideline to sideline, that type of thing. And they're real, technical and whenever they're on the field, just as far as their movements and the angles they take. So I try and take a lot of things from them just as far as, their how they play and the techniques that they use. and to help me with my game. Like I said, I've been watching those guys since I was like sophomore in high school. I've been watching Dion since I was like in middle school because at the time when I was in middle school, he was still in college, so I would go around him, spend time with him and watch him practice and whatnot. So those are really the guys that I look up to.
Griffin Floyd, go ahead.
Hey Dylan, so as a linebacker, you're much has been made of your sideline to sideline ability, but how does it transition to coverage? Have you had much experience manning up on tight ends or running backs, or do you primarily fit in a zone scheme?
Yeah, I've actually had like a lot of experience with that. Just with me having my athletic ability and being able to be a real rangy type guy, it's actually helped me in my coverage. I will say that is something that I do need to, I don't want to say necessarily get better at, but just work on it. Because I look at myself as a run stopper and someone that fills gaps, can be sideline to sideline. But just as good as I could be at that, I want to be able to, match that with, being also really good in coverage too. I'm not saying I'm bad at it, but it's like it's one of those things where like, okay, you can be better. You know what I'm saying? Like I always look at myself and think things can always be better and never really get satisfied with what I see.
Mateus, go ahead. Mateus?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Dylan, Mateus from Time Out Podcast here in Brazil. Congratulations for going for the NFL draft. A lot of teams and scouts talk about qualities, problems that you might have, but what do you think is your main quality for the next level that an NFL team is going to get it if draft you?
I think they're just going to get, a hardworking guy, that's a great team player, comes in, does his work, and just focuses on everything that, can help better the team. I'm not the type of guy that, gets in any trouble. I'm real low key to myself. I say I really don't even like, talking to the media majority of the time, but like I said, it's really one of those things where, team they'll draft a great guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really hardworking. I basically get the job done in that sense.
Karita Parks, go ahead.
Hey, Dylan, Karita Parks with Double Take Sports. I know that there was a point in your career where you thought about actually quitting football, and it was your family that kind of helped you continue to move forward. How important have they been throughout this process?
I didn't think about quitting football. I was just thinking about stop playing football last year for the school because I was just in a lot of pain. So just with my knee and having to play through like a torn meniscus. So it was really like a lot of self-reflecting that I had to do in order to keep going forward. And it was also my family that helped me, finish because usually I'm the type of person, like, if I start something, then I'm going to finish it, So my family and my friends, those are, like, big supporters in me actually, like, staying and finishing. And also my teammates, too, because, I made a promise to them that I would be there, and I was also a leader of the team, and I didn't want to just, leave and, not finish what we started.
John Shearer, go ahead. John
Hey,
Shearer.
Dylan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, in yourself?
I'm pretty good. So I was curious what you think your biggest weakness is going into the NFL draft and what you think your biggest strength is going into the NFL draft. Thank you.
Okay, so my biggest strength, I would say, is just being able to learn quickly, being able to adjust, being able to adapt to any system, and basically run with any guys that's on the field. Like I'm a great competitor, so just me like already having athletic ability and like just God-gifted talents. Like I'm not the type of person to just settle for less. Like I'm always work on my craft, so I feel like that's a strength for me. And a weakness I would say is me being too hard on myself. 'Cause I can be too hard on myself sometimes, and just like being able to what I want to say, kind of like how I say I be too hard on myself, just like try and limit that in a sense, keep going, not letting, the little things, bother you, because I'm a perfectionist, so I try and get everything right. So me knowing that not everything is perfect, you know, so it's just like working through that pretty much and keeping a balanced mind.
Joey Polizzi, go ahead.
Hey, Dylan, how are you today?
I'm good in yourself.
So in 2019, you missed the whole season because of a knee injury, and then the following year, COVID hit. So just talk us through how difficult was your adjustment?
It wasn't really that difficult at first, you know, because being I'm an introvert, so you have to be quarantined, you know, 24/7, and I was already accustomed to being in the house, so it really didn't change much of life for me. I guess the thing that was different the most was just doing all the Zoom meetings and talking to the coaches over the phone, learning our plays over the phone or on the iPad or whatever. It was just different in that sense, but I feel like the workload was still the same.
John Shearer, go ahead again.
Hey, Dylan, again, it's nice to talk to you, and it's quite the honor for me. So I was looking at your tape and stuff like that, and, you kind of remind me of Patrick Willis, to me, an all-time great. Do you think you can be on that level when you get to the NFL, when it's all said and done? Do you think you could be like a Patrick Willis? Because you remind me of, a great player like that. Thank you.
Well, he's one of my favorite players, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I don't strive to be like other people, you know. Like I said, I love the way he plays, and I think that he's a great player. But honestly, I would just be striving to be the best version of myself, and that's all I can do. I can try and take some of his, tools to help him be successful, to help better myself. But I wouldn't strive to be like him. I would just strive to be the best me.
Danilo Lacalle, go ahead.
Hey Dylan, how are you? Danilo from Brazil.
Yeah, you doing?
I'm fine, man. Well, nowadays the younger linebackers are becoming more complete. But how did Alabama prepare you for the league? And how important will be the pro day numbers for your draft?
Bama prepared me a lot, for the next level, man. Like just the transition, Bama is pretty much the exact same as, most NFL teams, as far as our defense and the way we run our systems over here, and just it being so businesslike and having Coach Saban, especially, that's what prepares us the most. So me being ready for the next level, that's no question for me. I feel like I'll be able to fit in or adjust as soon as I step on, in a facility, So that's not really an issue for me.
Michael Casagrande, go ahead.
Don, you mentioned a torn meniscus a few times. When did that happen? How did it impact you on the field, or what's the story behind that?
It happened, I believe, the third game of the season. That's when I really started feeling it. It was said that it was a bone bruise, but it kept bothering me throughout the year, and I just never really spoke up about it. Because usually I'm the type of person that's like, if I'm in pain or something like that, I never want to leave the field. So I just didn't say anything about it. But I was dealing with that the entire year. But I'm thankful that I did, because it made me stronger, and I was able to help my teammates, when I get to the ultimate goal and win a national championship.
All right, last one. Kyle Fahey, go ahead.
Hey, Dylan, Kyle Fahey from the Brawl Network. You mentioned the national championship there. You've had quite a journey, here at Bama. You come in pretty highly ranked. You find some early success, injuries, and then you cap it off with COVID and a national championship. What did that feel like? I mean, at the end of the road here, you probably, you knew you were going to the NFL, and you finished the best way you possibly can. What was that feeling like for you, just being this successful through it all?
It felt great, man. I ain't gonna lie, being able to win that title. But I ain't gonna lie, whenever we won, I was just thinking about fixing my knee after the end. I was trying to get back to whatever doctor I needed to get my knee looked at, because like I said, I was just tired of playing with it. So although I was happy to win, that was something that I really wanted to get fixed.